Hello, I want to, well, first of all, this is Dr. Felicia Vaughn with Wonderfully Well, and I wanted to just come on here and just talk to those critical care nurses who are the ones who are experiencing the heaviness and the weariness that being the only one who has the ability to speak and communicate with those who are in their COVID units, who are fighting for their lives, who are suffering, and who are struggling to breathe. Um, I know that being that only one is difficult, especially from what I've heard. There's a heaviness that comes with it. But I also want to encourage you that there's a power. There's a power that comes with that. Because you are the one that gets to be fully present with that individual. You are the one that gets to speak a word of encouragement over that individual. And I know sometimes it's very difficult because you want to find the right words to say. You want to find the right words for their families. You want to find the right words to express to them. You want to find the loving words, the caring words. And sometimes those words are hard to find. But what I have found is that in poetry, sometimes you can read the poems of another person, and right then and there, there's an expression of exactly what it is you want to say. And so, amazingly, I wrote poetry in order to encourage myself. But the poem that I'm going to read to you today is a poem that I read to my dad as he lay on his bed the day before he transitioned on, the day before he left this world. And I read it to him to provide to him the same thing that it provided for me: comfort, an encouraging word. Because what I've realized is that words are so powerful, words are so important, and that when a person is going through a time of suffering, when they're going through a time of difficulty, when they're going through a time of struggle, one of the best things you can do for them is may not be able to fix the situation, but you can certainly speak a word of peace. You can speak a word of rest over them. And that can be the most loving and caring thing you can do. So this poem, which I wrote in my book, Words of Wellness Poetry book, I just want to read to you today. It's called Heaven Bound. This body has started to fail me. Other than age, I'm not sure why completely, but I know one day I'll get a new one. Because of the love on the cross of God's firstborn son, the realization of a new home in glory encourages me to tell my overcoming story of how God kept me and brought me through, cleansed me, made me whole, made me right. Yes, brand new. Am I perfect? No, quite the contrary. But through God's Son, I can walk victoriously, gracious, compassionate, and abounding in love. I've been welcomed into God's family, and that's more than enough. This race requires that I stay the course and endure, for in God's love, I'm learning to be secure. Trials, they say, only come to make me strong. By God's grace, I'm determined to overcome and keep pressing on. This world is not my home. I'm heaven bound. Whether I'm asleep or awake, I'll hear Michael's trumpet sound. Oh, what a glorious day that will be when I'm safe in my Savior's arms for all eternity. I'm looking forward to my heavenly home where peace, love, and kindness are the holy norm, where love-filled people will receive their crown because they kept the faith and they stayed heaven bound. Listen, it doesn't have to be this poem. It can be any poem. Poetry can be very healing. Songs, which are just poems put to music, can be very healing. I would encourage you to even pump the sounds of poetry through the COVID unit so that the patients can hear, the nurses can hear. Pump songs of all different genres throughout the COVID department. Because I know that when I'm working, music is one of my motivators, and it can infuse me with energy and infuse me with joy. And so the medicine is great. The ventilators are needed. The IVs are good. But don't underestimate the power of the word, the power of the encouraging word. power of the good word, the power of the loving word. It too has power. And so I would encourage you to utilize it also in your in your arsenal of weapons in order to help give people peace and encouragement and to be well. Okay, I hope I've used my words well. Until next time.